I'd like to thank the grace of heaven, the virtues of the masters, mercy and compassion of the predecessors, grand predecessors, transmitters, lecturer, temple masters for giving me this opportunity to talk about today's class topic, which is continuation, part 2, you can say, of chapter 3 of the Classic of the Way and the Virtue, or Dao De Jing. Okay, so make it bigger? Wow. How big do you want it? That's pretty big. That's pretty big. Okay. So let's see. I could open up a file. Well, that shows the Chinese. We don't have the Chinese and English, right? Well, I'll get to that. But anyway, this is the second section. Okay, it's the chapter is only depending. You can say it's about 4 sentences long. The first, and it's in 3 sections. Okay, so we're in the second section. We're near the end of the second section. That's because if you don't see the text, it's hard to visualize. But anyway, okay, all right. So I think last week we talked about. This is just FYI. So those you guys who don't read Chinese, you guys should. Well, let's see right here. This is, okay, see this period? Yeah, that's period. So that's the end of the first section. It's one whole long sentence made up of 3 phrases. But anyway, okay, so that's it. At the end, I'll summarize it, but I'll give you some key takeaways. But this is the first section. And it talks about basically what the objective, you can say the objective is, okay, all right, the objective is, okay. Or the goal. And then the second section from here, starting from here, okay, is talking about how do you get it? How do you reach that? How do you achieve that objective? Okay? And so that's what we're talking about. So basically we say the governance, governance, you can say management, it can mean control and all that, okay? So that's what it means. It means control, administer, manage, rule, treat, or rule, okay? All right, that's what that word means. So how do we manage? How does a sage manage? Okay, or okay, all right. Now, okay, all right. So I think I talked about this near the end. Okay, so let me, because this section is kind of long. I mean, not long, but okay. So this is the first step. You can say first step, or one of the steps to achieve the objective from the first section is that we have to. Okay, the literal translation means empty our hearts. It literally means void, okay, empty or void. But okay, it just means that, the basic meaning, the more or less the superficial basic meaning is we should, try to get rid of those things that trouble our minds, right? Okay, all right. Okay, now this heart of mind is reference to phrase 6, which is up here, okay? This is phrase 6, okay? Things that we desire, okay? That's what our minds, right? The minds, right? Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm just summarizing, reviewing what we went yesterday. So last week. So, okay, so where are we? Yeah, okay, so right here, okay, that's the basic meaning, right? Just to, things, because we have desires. So that's what troubles, because we can't get it, right? Sometimes desires, we desire things or whatever. We don't get it, right? So therefore, it troubles us, right? It gives us, concerns, all that stuff, okay? So the way to handle this, okay, is to empty it, okay? So the way to handle is to empty our attachments, because we're so attached to those desires. Okay, now Lao Tzu did not say that you cannot have desires. That he didn't say that. He just say, get rid of those desires that trouble us. All right, because desires usually trouble us when they go overboard, when they go to the extreme, right? To the extreme. I gotta have it. No matter what, right? I'll do whatever, right? So that's the problem, and so they become attachments, obsessions. We can't let go, day in and day out. We can't sleep at night because we're still thinking about that. Okay, that's a problem. That's a problem, right? That becomes a problem. Okay, and And it becomes a problem. Not only becomes a problem, but it'll lead us to create karma, more karma, because it'll plant the seeds for future things that or consequences that we may not want. Okay, right? Okay, there's an English Western saying that say, "Be careful what you wish for," right? Stuff like that, right? Right. I mean, example. Okay, all right. So so another meaning of this phrase is to empty our minds of self-centric conceptions, egocentric, views, if you will, or desires or wants or, tendencies, all that stuff. And also to be humble and modest, okay? All right? Okay, now, these are all superficial meanings. I mean, it's not wrong. It's not wrong. It's just at a very basic level. For people who do not know the highest level, a lot of scholars, got the basic meanings wrong, okay, or understanding. Sorry, basic understanding. A lot of scholars, PhD plus, they've been studying, these ancient texts for the rest of their whole lives, 30, 50 years, and yet they got it wrong. They don't understand it. Okay, but that's okay. Anyway, so these are the basic meanings. So it's not wrong. It's not wrong. It's just at a basic level of understanding, okay, this is what Lao Tzu is trying to tell us, okay? But there's a deeper understanding, and that is how a sage deals with this world is by what? Not by being attached, by having these excessive desires, okay? They let go. They do not have any attachments. Okay, all right. So it's like letting go of all karmic affinities. That's one way of putting it. Okay, so and here's why: because if we let go of all karmic affinities or attachments, affinities just means that we have an attraction, right? Affinity, right? You have an affinity to something, right? Our minds will be empty of all attachments. The 4 marks, for example, that's in the Diamond Sutra. It's in other sutras, but Diamond Sutra mentions it quite a bit, okay? 3 minds, etc., etc. Then if we could do that, then our thoughts will not arise. We won't have these, wild thoughts, okay, or, crazy thoughts, okay? Then if we could achieve that, then we will have returned to our true self. Then, that when our mind is calm, right, and not stirred, right, okay, what will come through our true nature, our Buddha nature, true reality will come through. An example, would be like, you look at a pond, right? If you stir it up, right? Like our thoughts are constantly rising, fading away, what happens? It muddies the pond. So you can't see the bottom, right? I mean, right? But then if the pond is calm, there's no ripples, no waves, right? You can see the bottom. It's clear, right? Similarly, right? Okay, just like a glass of, I don't know, tea, juice, whatever. Same thing, right? So if you stir it, it's all mixed up, right? So you can't see it. It's not clear, right? So anyway, okay. So similar idea. Now Yan Hui. Anybody know who Yan Hui was, right? He was one of Confucius' chief disciples, okay? Yeah, he's youngest too. And he didn't say much. He didn't say much. But his it's called his state of self-restraint, return to his true nature, okay? Literally, it means this. That's to restrain yourself and return to pride, and observe or return to propriety. That's the literal translation of that Chinese. What it means, it's to do this, okay? It's to conquer all our bad habits and temper, okay? And overcome all our desires and eliminate all our ideas and thoughts, okay? That essentially is what a Buddha state or nirvana state is like, okay? Buddha nirvana state. Well, you can say enlightened state. Okay, yeah, but enlightenment has many levels. Okay, but anyway, okay, nirvana is the highest, obviously. Okay, so none of us can claim that we don't have tempers and habits. We all have. We all have them. Okay, we all have them. All right. None of us can claim that we don't have them. None of us can claim that. Okay, and none of us can claim that we have no desires. I mean, if you don't, if you have no desires, then you are Buddha. All right, all right. But we're not. Okay, so all right, so okay, and none of us can claim that we have no ideas and thoughts. We all have, right? We all have conscious, especially intellectual thoughts. Okay, especially because we have a little learning. We went through school. They teach us all that things. 1 + 1. A is equal to B. B is equal to C. So therefore, A is equal to C. Right? All these logic, all these knowledge. You can say knowledge, intellectual knowledge. So we're almost like programmed, if you will. So it's natural throughout the rest of our lives. We all carry those tendencies, right? Okay, so anyway, all right, okay. So the key is, if we could eliminate all these things, then we will, what? Actually go back to our Buddha nature, okay? No, it means literally to return to proprieties, but it just means the Buddha nature, because when the Buddha nature, or our essence, when our essence speaks, right? That is when we speak. If we are truly enlightened in the Buddha state, nirvana state, if you will, if we are in that state, then whatever we say when we speak of what? Gossip? Of course not. Lies? Of course not. No, we don't talk about those things. What do we talk about? Well, if the essence, our Buddha nature speaks. So this is how you can tell if a person is enlightened or not. Okay, I mean, or to some degree. Okay, obviously, you can be fooled too, but there are other ways of going. But at least at the very basic, superficial, prima facie, right? That's Latin. Superficial level, okay, you can tell if a person is enlightened or not. You know that? That's a very simple test. Very simple. There are two parts. One is what they speak. Do they speak gossip? Do they talk about people behind their backs? Of course not. Okay, that's definitely not enlightened person. Okay, not a Buddha. What do they speak? They speak the Dharma. Yeah, they only talk about the Dharma. Dharma. You can say teaching, truth, teaching. Truth. Okay, Dharma. And that's one half. One half. The other half is what? When they act, when they conduct themselves, what do they do? How do they conduct themselves? It's right up here. Proprieties. They conduct themselves according to ethics, according to morality, etc., etc. Get it? So you can tell if a person is enlightened or not by what they speak, what they talk about, and what they do. Very simple. Very simple. Okay? Now, that's the superficial level. There are higher levels, but for our purposes, this is good enough, okay? For our purposes. All right? Okay. So basically, that is our original state, the state of heaven, where the nature and all phenomena are in accordance with each other. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? So if you are truly, we say at one, that's a big, I don't know, during the 60s, the I don't know, whatever, the psychedelic era or whatever, they all say, oh, be at one with nature, be at one with that, be at one with this. They don't know what they're talking about. What be at one means just what I just said previously. If we are at one with our Buddha nature, okay, it encompasses everything, and what we say, actually what we think, but because we can't see what people think, actually what we think, what we say, what we do is in conformance with the heavenly principles, with the heavenly nature. Get it? Okay? All right? Okay? So that's called being at one. Okay? All right. Okay. I spent too much time already. But okay, fills our stomachs. I'm just going to go to this very, very, very quickly, okay? Because I think I talked about this last week. It just the basic meaning means the wise rule says never lose sight. The basic stuff. You have to take care of the basic necessities of things. Okay, not luxuries, okay? Not not extravagance, okay? But just basic necessities, okay? But the meaning is more than what a ruler does. It's actually the ruler is you. It's ourselves. Each one of us is a ruler of people. Then you say, well, how can we be ruler of everybody? No, it's not the external. This is external. It's a ruler of our minds. The minds, I mentioned that, right, last week earlier in section 1, 6 consciousness. Those are our minds. Those are the people. So we have to know how to control those people or our thoughts. Get it? Okay, our six senses. The six senses, the 6 sense organs, interfacing with the 6 objects creates those 6 consciousness. That's our minds. Our minds are composed of those 6 consciousness. Okay, if you want to break it down in those parts. Okay, all right. The 6. For those of you who don't know what the 6 consciousness is, it's basically the 6 senses, right? The 5 plus your mind. Right? The mind integrates it, or make deductions or inductions from it, okay, or synthesizes or the inputs or from the 6 senses, and then the 6 senses interact or interface with the objects, the objects of your eyesight, the objects of your hearing, smell, taste, touch, and thought, etc. Okay, all right. So those are the 6 consciousness. Okay. Anyway, so those are the people. That's the people, not the people out externally. The deeper meaning is Lao Tzu is saying, start with yourself. Control. You want to control the people? You want to fill the stomachs? It's your own mind. It's your own thoughts. Okay. So what it means is this. Okay. This word means stomach. Okay. This word. Okay. Literally, but it's a metaphor. Okay, for basic needs. That's true too, right? You have to eat, right? Those are things. But in this case, so that's the external. That's the form. Okay, that's the basic definition or interpretation. Okay, but the higher level is the internal aspect or the invisible formless aspect, which implies our inner virtues. We all have virtues. We all have qualities. We all have Buddha nature qualities. We all have that. We don't know it. That's the only problem. The reason why we don't know it is because we are controlled, or we couldn't control, by our 6 senses, by our desires, by our thoughts, right? That's what controls us, right, in everyday life, right? So therefore, we don't even know, what's our Buddha nature? What is it? I don't know. I can't see it. I can't feel it. Or what I can see is I can see things in my object. I can touch things. I can smell things. I can taste things. I can hear things. That to them is real. To us is real. So that's what's in control 99% of the time, right? Except when we're sleeping. Maybe, that's not in control, okay? But that's it, right? That's not true too because we have dreams too. But anyway, okay. All right. Okay. So what it means is that the stomach, in this case, refers to our inner qualities or virtues, where moral qualities are noble, perfect, virtuous. Okay, that's what it means. Okay, so even though the basic meaning is that, but in Tao cultivation, the deeper meaning, it just means sages, us. We enrich or replenish the moral qualities or virtues of people or of our minds. Get it? Okay, so that's the higher level meaning. Okay, all right. There are 3 parts. Yeah, I don't need to go to this, but anyway. So okay, all right. So okay. Now we're caught up. Okay, so this word, okay, literally means weakens our ambitions. Okay, now the first word literally means weak. Okay, the last word means ambition, aspiration, or worthy goal. Okay, or worthy goal or will. Okay. So by itself, it's neutral and can be a positive thing, right? We have a good aspiration. We have an aspiration to improve yourself, to help others, to do all things, all that. That's good stuff. That's good. That's not bad. Okay. But what Lao Tzu was trying to get at is that we should not have overzealous ambitions or overzealous, it means extreme, to the extreme, right? So therefore, we should moderate our ambitions for, in this case, He's not talking about ambitions or aspirations to be good, to be kind, to be etc., etc., etc. He's talking about the other extreme, which is we have ambitions for what? Mainly egocentric type of stuff, ambitions, i.e. what? Recognition, fame, acclaim, prestige, ego, etc., etc. Get it? Okay, now this is more the abstract type of desires as opposed to desires for material things, which is, right, we talk about that in the second phrase of section 1, right? Okay. So the deeper meaning, it just means that we should weaken or moderate our ambitious pursuit of all material things, okay? Or things in this material world, okay? Just moderate it, okay? He didn't say that you should have no ambitions, right? He didn't say have no ambition. He just say weakens, remember? Weakens. Or you can say lower it, moderate it, whatever, right? He didn't say have no ambition. If you have ambitions to be good, you have ambition to make money, fine. It can be harmonious with a ethical life, right? As long as you don't go overboard, right? You don't steal, right? You don't do blackmail or embezzle, right? You gotta make money, but there's you can say ethical way and a non-ethical way. Legal, illegal, etc., right? Embezzling, I think it's illegal, right? It's definitely not ethical, right? Okay. Yeah. So okay. So anyway, so just means that, okay. So okay. Now the higher level is that we should not pursue or the enjoyment or pleasure of material things, and not to pursue the stimulation of our six senses. That's very important, because remember, if we pursue, well, first of all, enjoyment or pleasure of material things, we become attached to it, right? It becomes a habit. Right? Oh, every Thanksgiving, I gotta have a turkey. I gotta have a turkey. It's like a habit. It's a tradition. I gotta eat this turkey. I gotta eat this bird. Right? We are attached. Right? It's not that you can't do without it, but some people's like, let's go even a little bit more extreme, or more down the lower level. Alcohol, right? Alcohol, cigarettes, etc. Drugs, whatever. Or now it becomes like, kids, they have to play the games. They have to have games. They have to play, what's that, Xbox or whatever, Sony or, Sony's Xbox, whatever. Microsoft has something else, I don't know, something, right? Whatever, those game consoles. They gotta, P2, PS2 or whatever. They gotta have those things. PlayStation, right? PlayStation. They gotta do that. They have games on their cell phone. That's hey, it's time to eat. No, Mom. I gotta finish this game. Come on. You're attached. My God, imagine the days when we didn't have cell phones. People still got by. So it's you are pursuing enjoyment, right, or pleasure, right? I gotta have this game. I gotta play this game. It's so exciting, or whatever. I don't know. You're attached, so that's a problem. So you become a slave to it, which is which doesn't make sense. But anyway, okay. Then the stimulation of our six senses is this: if we pursue, I love to see this, or I love to smell this, or I love to hear this, or I love to taste this, or I love to touch this, then you become attached too. Or slave to your six senses. That's what I'm trying to get at. Okay? Or yeah.
Does that include? I love to think this. Like thinking can be overdone as well.
Precisely. It's you can have what we call what's the term? I don't want to say idle thinking, but not idle thinking, but thoughts. Just doesn't go anywhere. You just go around in circles, right? Right? It's you're stimulating your brain. They call it cerebral whatever, right? Okay, so cerebral stimulation. Okay, I just call it that way. That's not good either. Okay, because what are you achieving? What are you achieving? Are you making yourself better? I don't know, right? I don't think so, right? Okay, all right. So yeah, six senses, because it's all six. The mind, that means thoughts, having just crazy, not crazy thoughts, just endless thoughts. one thought after the next, one thought after the next, etc. Okay, all right, okay. So that's what we got to be careful, okay? So if we can moderate or weaken subset, then we will save a lot of trouble as well as creating less karmic causes, okay? Because because you're becoming a slave to your six senses or to your pleasure, attachment to pleasure or enjoyment. You're going to create karma, right? Because you're saying instant gratification. I need gratification now. But then be careful what you wish for because the consequences may come and bite you in the back, right? Okay. So you will not be aware that you are going to create some consequences in the future that may not be good, right? Okay. So we got to be careful, all right? And I think I said this already, right? So we should have a little bit more. I mean, it's not easy, open-minded way of thinking. It's like saying, if we, a lot of times, we have possessions, right? Sometimes we have, things that we treasure, for example, okay? Whether or not they're more valuable or not doesn't matter, okay? Okay, things that we treasure. And if we lose it, we go nuts. We go nuts because we're so attached to it, right? So I would think one way to kind of overcome that tendency is to say, obviously you probably need to have a clear head, but you could say, I was not born with this item, so it no longer matters, right? I wasn't born with it, right? I mean, you lost your, I don't know, price watch or price statue or porcelain or whatever, painting or something, whatever. You weren't born with that stuff, so it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so it's not easy. I agree, it's not easy. But it's kind of okay. Anyway, then the other thing is, we are so obsessed with pursuing something that we want to get something, desire something, but we still can't get it, right? We still can't get it. So we can think like this: if I leave this world, can you take it with you? Of course not. So it's not worth it. So it's no, why bother? You still can't take it with you, right? Even if you got it. I mean, right? Transmitter Lin had was it during the Dharma class, right? He had a slide. He was talking about a really rich oil sheikh or oil baron or whatever. Yeah, he had warehouses, guys. He had pictures. He had his own private jet plane, private plane. Yacht, private yacht, his own yacht. And then he had Rolls Royce and all fancy cars. And then he had a warehouse full of gold bars or medallions or whatever. And he died. Well, let me ask you, can he take all those things with him and enjoy in some future life? Of course not, right? It's going to be, left over. People, his descendants or his family will be haggling over his estate, okay? Such a shame, right? All right? He pursued all these things, and yet when he left, he can't take it with him. And all those things are going to go to somebody else. Right, so in the end, it doesn't matter, right? You're not going to be able to take it with you. So anyway, okay. So we should have a little bit more open mind. Okay, all right. So it's important to inspire our true nature without, which has no beginning, no end, to be our master in everyday life. Yeah, in everyday life. I knew I missed something. Okay, all right. In everyday life. Okay, and not let our six senses take over, right? Okay, all right. So otherwise, the pursuit of six senses will lead to what? Ingrained habits, habitual nature, which will make our cultivation or that journey towards enlightenment or nirvana more difficult. Obviously, right? It's very hard to change habits. That's true, right? Everybody should know that, right? I mean, we should acknowledge that. Or recognize it. So by not having ambitious pursuits of material things, fame, prestige, recognition, we can save ourselves a lot of trouble and not create more future, or karmic causes. Okay, all right. Okay, so that's what this means. Okay, to weaken our ambitions or moderate our ambitions. Now this one means so one is ambitions. Now the next one is first he talked about the belly. Remember the stomach. Okay, so stomach. So now he talk about the bones. So he goes, we should strengthen their bones, okay, or our bones, okay. So the meaning of the first word means to strengthen, to make strong. The last word means bones, literally means bones, literally. But another meaning of bones is really a metaphor, once again, okay? As just like the stomach, the belly is a metaphor for what? Our inner virtues, right? Our virtues or, qualities, right? The metaphor for bones is our integrity or strength of character. Remember, people say, hey, that person has a backbone. That means they have that moral courage, right? Or integrity, right? Or integrity, right? Right? When a person has a backbone, as opposed to a person who is a jellyfish or spineless, we say spineless, right? It's the same idea, right? Parallel, right? Okay, that's what it means, okay? So the basic meaning is to strengthen the integrity of the people, i.e. of ourselves. Strengthen the integrity, moral integrity, you can say ethics, all that stuff, okay? Character, moral character, right? Okay? So here's a deeper meaning of bones. Okay, I mean, so integrity it's pretty good already, pretty high. But more specifically, it means the skeleton of the Tao. It means the Tao character or traits, okay? So now we're getting to the higher level, i.e. our Buddha nature traits. It's like our Buddha nature traits. And some of the Buddha nature traits, some, remember we talked about it up here? The 4 immeasurable minds, okay? That's what they are, right? That's the Buddha nature trait, okay? It doesn't come from our mind, thoughts, okay? Not from our consciousness, okay? Get it? Okay, these are examples. This is very broad, okay? Very basic, okay? It's called the 4 immeasurable minds, okay? That's one example of the Buddha nature traits. Okay, all right. Okay, where are we? Okay, right here. So it means that the deeper meaning of the strengthen our bones or their bones is to strengthen or nurture the essence of our true nature, to flourish, thrive, and be healthy and strong. That's what it means, okay? To nurture, to strengthen it, okay? And how do you do that? By not letting our 6 senses take over, okay, or be our master. So if we could strengthen our true nature, we're able to view all natural material phenomena with indifference. That, hey, there's no need for desiring things. There's no need for these, excessive or ambitions, etc., etc. Get it? Okay? All right? Or no need to pursue these pleasures, enjoyments, or attachments, etc., etc. Okay? So this way, we will no longer need to bicker or haggle over mundane things or material things. Okay? All right? Then also 3 steps. By helping sentient beings to the best and not being attached in our minds. Then as long as we can maintain this, then our Tao skeleton or character, will be truly strengthened. Okay? That's how it works. Okay? So this is all internal. That's the higher meaning. Okay? Within us. That's what Lao Tzu is trying to get at. It's not a wise ruler, sage, governing people. Yes, they can govern this way, but start out by themselves, with ourselves. You can say govern ourselves this way. Okay? All right. Okay. So if you could do these things, right? These are the in this case, these are the four parts, you can say, okay? If we could do that, then let the people have no cunning and no desire. Let the people. So the meaning of the 4th and 5th words, these 2, literally it means no knowledge or ignorance, you can say that, okay? But another meaning of this, it means it's not cunning, not cleverness, not that type of intelligence, which can be negative, right? Intelligence it's neutral, right? It could be good. Depends on how you, use it, right? Depends on how you use it, right? You could be a very intelligent person, but if you just use that intelligence to do bad things, then obviously that intelligence is not good, right? I mean, that it's not helping you, right? Okay? And vice versa, okay? Or not calculating, not scheming, okay? You're always scheming. You're using your intellect to scheme, Ponzi schemes, pyramid schemes, God knows what, I don't know, whatever, scams, all that stuff, okay? All right? Okay, now, some scholars translate this phrase as let the people be ignorant or ignorant is bliss. That's totally opposite of what Lao Tzu was trying to say, okay? Totally opposite. You look it up. You can Google the Tao Te Ching. and look up through the various translations. There's so many. It just, it's just too many, okay? And some translators translate like that, okay? So we got to be careful, okay? So that's not what Lao Tzu meant. Say, let the people be ignorant. No, that's not what Lao Tzu said, okay? Meant, okay? He just say, it's do not use our intelligence or knowledge in a very negative or extreme manner. Okay, that's another way. So it's just basic meaning. It just means do this. Okay, do not use intelligence in a harmful or hurtful way, such as competing for what? Recognition, power, cheating, stealing, chasing after fame, fortune, etc. And we create more problems. All right, this is reference back to that, to the first phrase in the first section. Okay, all right, okay. Then the meaning of these last two words, literally, it means without desire. Okay. But what it means is excessive desire for material things, not a desire necessary to do good things or to help yourself, or to improve oneself. Okay. All right. But the higher meaning of this without desire means no desires based on our sixth consciousness. Get it? Okay. Or not driven by those, those six senses, right? Okay. You can have a desire to help others, but that's not driven by your six senses. Get it? That's like driven by your what? Moral integrity, right? Or values. You can say values. Or moral character. Or empathy. Or benevolence, humanity. That's not a desire, right? I mean, that's not part of our six organs, our six senses. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? Get it? All right? So the deeper meaning of the word people, remember I talked about this in section 1? It means the mind of our sixth consciousness, which is created from remember I said interaction of the six senses and the six objects of this phenomenon. That's how, right? That's how it creates, okay? That's what it means, okay? All right? So the higher level of this means this. It's to constantly let our six senses now be ignorant, be less cunning, be less shrewd or calculating, and without desire, with less desires, or moderate those desires. Okay? That's the higher level meaning of this phrase. Not to say, let the people be ignorant. Get it? Okay? So very important, all right? Not to say that, okay? So with our sixth consciousness, here's the thing. Here's why we should not weaken. We should say, let our sixth consciousness be ignorant or be less cunning, less shrewd, less calculating. It's because of this. Because why? If we use our sixth consciousness, we will then use knowledge, right? Our knowledge, what we've learned, or intellect, and perception to make comparisons. Get it? Or differentiate things. Say, this is A, this is B, right? Well, A is better than B. So therefore, I want A and I don't want B. All right? So we start making comparisons and differentiate. Okay? Becomes like and dislike. Now, or we can say, how come that person, he's less educated than me, or he's not as handsome, he's an ugly guy, or whatever, and yet how come he has more wealth than me, or stuff like that, right? So we start making comparisons, okay, and this will lead to what? A trouble. We start having worries, concern. I don't say what, vexations, afflictions. That means things that bother you, right? Nagging you, okay. Which will lead to what? If we don't let that go, if we don't drop those vexations, obsessions, if you will, or things that nag us, it can lead to resentment. Say, I'm starting to dislike, right? Resent, right? I resent. Oh, how come that person deserve to have all this and I don't? You get it? Okay. So be careful. Now, if resentment is not cleared away, then hatred will arise, which is another way of saying, you can say a stronger or more extreme form of resentment. Okay? You start having a strong dislike, right? A strong dislike or extreme dislike. That's hatred, right? A dislike is, you can say, could be mild or moderate. But then if you keep adding to it or getting to the extreme point, it becomes a strong dislike, right? Which is hatred, okay? So if hatred continues, then comes, rage, fury, and vexations. Get it? So one will lead to the next, okay, if we don't cut it off, okay? So therefore, we must not let resentment brew to become this, okay? Remember, we started out with resentment, right? After we make comparisons, we start saying, hey, how come you deserve this and I don't? Or you got all the recognition, you get all the praise and I don't, etc., right? Okay, etc., okay? Then it could lead to this, okay? So that's a slippery slope, okay? All right? So the sage is really our Buddha nature. We all have that, our true nature. And the people are our six senses, which is our six consciousness, which is the people within us, okay? So to let our six consciousness be ignorant, that means we should not rely on knowledge or intelligence and have ideally without desires or moderate desires, then there will be no self-consciousness or perceptive mind. Self-consciousness in this case, ego means ego. I comes first, okay? And a perceptive mind. Perceptive mind means you differentiate, okay? Get it? Okay. So you can say self-consciousness is like a self-identity or something, okay? All right? So everything's I. So without a perceptive mind, there will be no comparisons or discrimination, no desires, okay? Right? Differentiating mind, okay? Okay? Then there will be no resentment, hatred in this, okay? So that's very important. That's how we overcome, overcome the tendency for resentment, or making comparisons and therefore resentment, okay? So without intelligence, knowledge, there will be no karmic causes because our minds are not aroused, nor our thoughts stirred, okay? I'm talking about six consciousness, okay? There's that. And that is the cause of our aroused minds, etc., are therefore eliminated, okay? All right? So by letting our six consciousness be without knowledge or desires, there will be no self-conscious, or you can say ego, or perceptive mind, or differentiating mind, and that will not do bad things. Okay, so that's what this phrase means. Okay, all right, okay. The next phrase, thus, so you can say thus, so. Okay, those who scheme will not dare to meddle. Okay, or interfere. Okay, you can say that. Okay, so literal meaning of the third and fourth words. Okay, that's these two. Okay, it means an intelligent person or a person of wisdom, which is a positive trait. Okay, that's good. The meaning of the last four words, okay, is so people who use their intelligence or intellect or knowledge to scheme or plot, which therefore is a negative trait. Get it? Okay, intelligence, you can say by itself, is not a negative trait. It's neutral. It's neutral. Like I said, depending on what you use it for, right? Okay, depends on the context, right? Okay, so such actions, such as scheming, plotting, and are rooted in what? Driven by our ego, our self-consciousness, our self-identity, and greed, desire or excessive desire, right? Greed. It's excessive, right? Excessive desire for the what? Attachment to acquisition of material things. Okay, so people who scheme only have a way if there's greed or desire to, obviously, right? All these scams, the way they get to you is because there's some people says, hey, yeah, I want that, I want more, right? So there goes. Okay, so that's how it starts, chain reaction. Okay. Now the meaning of these two words, literally it means not to dare to do something. Okay, so the meaning of this second to the last word. It means, in this case, to interfere. It can mean to act, to interfere, to meddle, okay? All right? Okay, so that's why it says dare not to meddle or interfere, okay? Okay, so the difference, here's the important thing. The difference between people and sages, now we're talking about external now, okay, or internal, people who are enlightened versus people who are not, are people, those who use and rely on their six consciousness. That's what we call people, okay? Which is our own minds too, if we're not enlightened. While sages, which is the Buddha nature essence, you can say, are those with the innate wisdom, okay? Wisdom. We have that Buddha nature wisdom. It's innate. It's no need to acquire it from outside. We already have it. It's innate. It's part of our Buddha nature. Or you can say it's a manifestation of our Buddha nature. Okay, so by always constantly not relying on our conscious minds and having no desire from the six senses, we are sages. with that innate wisdom, Buddha nature wisdom. Okay, so the higher level meaning basically is this: those who have wisdom, i.e., sages, will not dare do bad things, because we remember I said, what's one simple test or example of a person who is enlightened or from the Buddha nature? Besides their speech, their actions. Their actions will be what? In accordance with proprieties, with ethics, etc., or morality, etc., etc. Get it? Okay? All right. So they won't do bad things, right? Okay. Okay, we're almost near the end. Okay. So now here is this act. This is two words but with different meanings. Two same words. Okay. So act without contrivance. Yeah, you can say contrivance. Or contrivance. Yeah. Okay. Everything's contrived. Contrived means it's I don't want to say it's fake, but it just means that you have a hidden agenda or like a motive. You can say motive. Yeah, there's a hidden agenda, right? Or a motive. Yeah, they call it motive, right? Okay. So the meaning of the first word, this first word, it just means to do. In this case, to do, to become, to create. Okay. It's a verb in this case. Okay. In this case, it's a verb. Okay. Then the meaning of the same word, okay, in this case, it means because of, or for what, or for the sake of, for the purpose of, okay, all right. So then the basic meaning of the last two words means what? It's unconditional. Not, it's literally you can say without what for, or without purpose, okay, or like that, okay, all right, okay, or not for, okay, literally. So the higher level, so that means you act, right? First word, act without conditions, you can say, without agenda, without conditions, okay? But the higher level of this Wu Wei is what? It's really, you can say, nirvana nature. It's the dharma nature or of our Buddha nature. Get it? Okay? That's, in sense, you say, in a state of nirvana. You can say that, right? So whenever we do, whatever we do, is from the state of nirvana. Get it? Okay, so that's the higher level meaning. Okay? Right? Okay. So the deeper phrase, I just said right here, right? To act according to our Buddha nature. Okay? All right? Okay. So if we do not rely on our conscious minds and do not let be our master and allow our Buddha nature to be in control, then all our actions will be in accordance to heavenly principles or proprieties, as what Yan Hui was saying. Okay, previous section. Okay, all right. So therefore, sages act, or enlightened beings, you can say sages, without intentions or attachments, ambitions, or names and appearances. Okay, that's called part of the 5 categories. It's down here. You guys can look at it later on. These are the 5 categories. Okay, Wu Fa. Okay, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's the first 3 that we're mainly concerned with. Okay, anyway, all right. Okay, so now we're there. Okay, so last section, last phrase, thank God. Okay, then, 则 means then, thus, or it follows. Okay, you can say ergo. Okay, ergo. Okay, 无不自. Okay, nothing will be beyond our control. Okay, so the first meaning, then, therefore, thus. Okay, it could mean, so that's a, what's that? Then is a preposition. Is that a preposition? I know, I forgot the technical term. It could also mean norm, okay, that's or standard, or it could mean that's a noun or a verb to follow, okay? All right, okay. The meaning of the last word literally means to manage, right? Remember I talked about it already, okay? Okay? To manage, to govern, okay? So therefore the meaning of the last 3 words is what? It has a double negative, right? This means no, without, not. So double negative, it just means nothing you cannot control. Understand? There's nothing you cannot control. So this is a stronger saying. Okay? All right? Okay? Stronger way. So the basic meaning is this. Ergo, thus, there's nothing that sages cannot control, manage, or govern. That's what it means. Okay? Because they manage everything or do everything from our Buddha nature. From that infinite Buddha wisdom, right? The wisdom, right? Buddha wisdom. Okay? All right? Not based on knowledge. Because knowledge, what? Can be learned, right? Gained. And knowledge is limited, right? Right? There's always more knowledge, right? That's why scientists will always pursue, will go on forever, because there's always more and more knowledge, okay? To find out, okay? To learn or to discover. Okay, all right. So That's the basic meaning. Okay, but the deeper meaning is this. If we are in accordance with our Buddha nature, then we are also sages. We are also sages. Not some sage ruler that is special. No. We also are can be like that. But we have to be in accordance with our Buddha nature, right? And that was, explained in the previous section, right? Okay. So then, as sages, all our actions will be in accordance with our principles, with the Tao. So then there's nothing that our Buddha nature cannot manage or govern. Get it? So, okay, so it's just basically a refrain from the previous, okay? Therefore, our actions, remember, will not create karma because we're following the principles, right? We're not going against it, okay? So that's really being at one. That's what it means by being. And all the merit, just like all the merit things grow ceaseless and natural without any entire attachments, right? It just follows the principles, right? Just like how the planets, the moon, the earth, the solar system, the I don't know, what's our constellation that we're in? I don't know what constellation. The Milky Way, the local cluster, the whatever cluster of galaxies, whatever. They all follow principles. In this case, we say law of physics, okay, in this case, because that's inanimate things, right? They follow the law of physics. So everything is harmonious, right? It's not random. It's not chaos or whatever, okay? All right? So similarly, our actions must be proper, diligent, without attachments, contention, desires, intentions, just like the heaven and earth, okay? All right? So sages understood this. That is, people who are enlightened, right, realize this. That's how heaven and earth works. They act in accordance with the principles in dealing with all matters. So therefore, there's nothing they cannot govern, control, manage, etc. Okay, or minister. Okay. Now, I want to summarize. I didn't write it down because I don't like writing it down because then it's like me telling you, actually, to really truly learn and appreciate, maybe that's a better way of saying, this chapter or this classic Lao Tzu, you really have to take the time and effort to really read it, understand it, and then make up, not say conclusion, but draw up takeaways on your own. It's like me saying, hey, this water is really, really thirst quenching and it's really, really good. So I drink it, right? And I say that. To you, if you don't taste the water yourself, if you don't drink the water yourself, as far as you're concerned, it's only knowledge because you heard it. That's information. That's information that's given to you, right? So as far as you're concerned, if you don't drink that water, then it's only superficial knowledge because it's only information that you get, right? So information, remember, or knowledge, can be gained and can be lost. So it's not part of you. It's not your innate nature. You're not born with that info, that knowledge, okay? All right? Okay? So you have to taste it yourself. Once you taste it, or drink the water, whatever, or experience it, if you will, it is then part of you. You get it? You'll never lose it, right? I mean, you can say, I always remember it, but you'll always know what it is, right? Okay, get it? So likewise, with learning, it's the same thing. So, it's easy, today's world, you go on the internet, yeah, you hear people do seminars, and then that's it, because it's quick, it's easy, right? Or, I don't know, maybe not too easy, but anyway. But then, that's only superficial. That's a very superficial. So you really have to immerse yourself, or, I'll say dive into deep in, but take the time and effort. You have to. I'm sorry. You have to take the time and effort to, it's like saying, hey, I saw a Bruce Lee movie. So, hey, I know Kung Fu like Bruce Lee. No, come on. You have to, Bruce Lee, spent, I don't know, a good deal of his life training and learning, right? Kung Fu or martial arts, whatever. Likewise, you have to do the same thing, right? Right? Okay, so here's some takeaways, okay? There are a couple, 2 or 3, okay? First takeaway. Actually, this the title, the kind of title kind of says everything. I mean, hints at it. The first takeaway, but I'm going to go more specific. Okay, the first takeaway is it really parallels the same notion as the what? Middle path. Doctrine of the mean. Doctrine of the mean. So it's already similar to Confucius, what? That 4 books, Doctrine of the Mean, or what? Buddha's middle path or Eightfold Paths. That's the very basic. But okay, all right. Why? Because we don't go to extremes. You don't over glorify. You don't have overly ambitions, as extreme ambitions, etc. It's always there's a middle ground, middle path. You moderate things, right? Remember? Okay, I talked about. So that's the first takeaway. Very broad. Okay. Second takeaway. It's basically here. Okay. It's basically hinted here. It's the fundamentals. You have to know what is the essence or the core and what is the root and what is the branch, or what is the core and what is the incidental or fundamental, right? What is the fundamental or core, right? Versus what is the incidental. Get it? Okay. And what are they? What are they? What is the core or essence or fundamental or the root versus the incidental? It's our Buddha nature that we have to be in that. And what is all those incidental things? Desires, ambitions, etc., etc. Get it? Okay? All right? Now, unfortunately, in today's world, or maybe throughout history, most of us flipped it. We don't know about Buddha nature. To us, that's an incidental thing. That's a minor detail. What's the core for most of us, or the fundamental, is our ambitions, our drive, our desires. Isn't that true? Our sixth consciousness. Isn't that true? Right? So we got to remember what is the fundamental and what is the incidental, or what is the root, what is the branch, or what is the essence, and what is the, I don't know, what's that say? Manifestation or a function. Okay? All right? Okay, get it? Okay. Then the last takeaway, what did I have? I said 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the last takeaway is basically it's a higher level. It's that this chapter is not, on the surface, it's not talking about a sage king or ruler, a sage king, philosopher king, if you will, the Western tradition, right? Under Socrates, Plato especially. Plato. So, you have sage kings, right? Or who rule people. Yeah, and that's what it is. But actually, it applies to ourselves. So we ourselves are also sage kings. Get it? Okay, that's the other takeaway. Okay? Let's say. So we can also do this. All right? Okay, so there are a lot of things maybe I haven't said completely satisfactory or correct, and things that I haven't explained properly. I ask for the Buddha's forgiveness. Okay, thank you.